Alright. Okay. So, it's time for Wizard. Alright, Wizard. Your Wizards, you're pretty good as you are, and they really didn't have any good changes for you in Darker Dungeons. So, who knows what they've got planned for you here, but I can't imagine it's too crazy. Well, let's jump into this bad boy. You're still smart and a nerd. Spell script. Oh, secret language. You can read and write spell script, an ancient academic nerd language for nerds. Glyphs, symbols, and notations only used by nerds to record ancient knowledge spells. I like that quite a bit. You gain the ability to cast magic spells through careful study of spellbooks, glyphs, arcane sigils. At first level, you have a spellbook. There's a whole section on spellbooks, apparently. Apparently, wizards are pretty beefy. So strap in. At first level, you know 3 cantrips of your choice. You can learn additional Wizrobe cantrips. Memorize. Cantrips are simple enough to memorize. They don't need to be recorded or prepared. You can replace cantrips when you level. Spells known of first level and higher. You know 6 first level spells of your choice from the wizard spell list. Write these into your spellbook. If you're using Darker Dungeons, they recommend randomly choosing these spells because they seem to really like randomization. Spells of first level or higher are too complicated to be memorized by mortal minds. Write these spells to your spellbook to keep them recorded. Each time you gain a Wizrobe level, you can add 2 wizard spells of your choice to your spellbook for free. Each of these spells must be a level for which you have spell slots, as shown in the class features wizard table. In addition, you may find other wizard spells on scrolls in spellbooks on your adventure. If you can decipher their spell script, you may be able to write them into your own spellbook. Let's see. Choose a number of Wizrobe spells equal to your int plus your int modifier plus your wizard level. Prepared spells must be of a level which you have spell slots, and you must be able to process the spells or access the spells in your spellbook as you're preparing them. You can change a list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest. Not just one spell, but all your spells. Preparing a new list of wizard spells requires time, 1 minute per spell level for each spell on your list. If you don't like keeping track of all sorts of tiny details, don't play a wizard. Casting spells shows how many spell slots you have to cast your prepared wizard spells at first level and higher. To cast one of your prepared spells, you must expend a slot of the spell's level or higher. Casting a spell doesn't remove it from the list of prepared spells, and you regain all expended spell slots when you finish a long rest. Spellcasting ability is Intelligence. Ritual casting. A ritual cast a wizard spell if A, the spell has the ritual tag, and B, you have it in your spellbook. Spellcasting Focus. You can use your spellbook or an Arcane Focus. I wouldn't recommend using your spellbook because it can get damaged and destroyed, which would probably be bad. Arcane Versatility. When you finish a long rest, you can choose one wizard cantrip you didn't know and replace it with a different cantrip. Okay. That's pretty cool. Choose an arcane tradition. 1st, 3rd, 6th, and 10th. Magic spells are categorized into 8 traditional schools of arcane power. As you begin to train your arcane tradition, some of these schools become easier or more difficult for you to learn and master. At first level, you gain 1 favored and 1 clashing school of magic, going way back to 2nd edition, baby. That's pretty cool. Arcane recovery. When you finish a short rest, let's see. When you finish a short rest, you recover some expended spell slots. The spell slots must be combined equal to or less than half your wizard level, and none of them can be 6th level or higher. You can use this feature once, and you regain expended uses when you finish a long rest. As a student in the Arcane, you'll be able to learn new wizard spells in your downtime through careful study, research. See the spell research section. Oi, okay. There are 8 schools of magic. We all know about the 8 schools of magic. Let's just keep going. Let's see. Ability score improvement. Spell script savant. Level 6. You have learned a new technique to improve the quality of your spell script and spell writing. Choose one of the options below. Greater spell script savant. At 8th level, choose an additional feature. You can't choose the same feature more than once unless specified otherwise. Compression. You have learned how to use notations more efficiently in your writings. When you write spell script, you can spend 1 additional hour per spell to compress your text. Compressed spell script takes up half as much physical space as it normally would, rounded up. And when calculating your spellbook's magical capacity, Oh man, this is old school. Counts as half its normal spell level. Encryption. You can encrypt your spell script, making it impossible for other wizards to decipher it without your personal cipher. When writing new spell script, you can spend 1 additional hour per spell level to encrypt your text. I told you it was nerd stuff. Told you. You can't prepare a spell by reading from encrypted spell script. You must read from a decrypted copy. It takes 1 additional hour per spell level to decipher your own encrypted text. A physical cipher for your encryption is a set of arcane codes and substitutions too complicated to ever memorize. It must be written down somewhere, and you must be able to access it when encrypting or decrypting your spell script. Potent glyphs. You have learned how to use cost-effective notations when writing spell scripts. Spells count as 1 level lower than normal when you calculate the gold you must spend to write them. You can choose this option multiple times. Shorthand. You have learned how to read and write in arcane shorthand. You can write spell script, decipher spell script, and prepare spells in half the usual time. Well, thank God for all of that. At level 10, you get a signature spell. Choose 1 first level wizard spell. You are able to cast it without expending a spell slot. Unlimited magic missiles, baby. That's the good old days. That's the good old days right there. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. Skills and powers. 2.5e Dungeons and Dragons. Signature spell. Unlimited first level spells. Oh, no. No, don't tell me there's actually limits. Oh, well, don't call it oh, you can do this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. Boo. And you regain expended uses when you finish a long rest. Well, that sucks. Just get a wand at that point. Jeez. I mean, I know we're playing in a magic item poor setting, but I was so excited that you actually had unlimited first level spells. I guess you got to play a warlock for that. Alright, the modified Wizrobe list is a beefy, beefy boy. Alright, only goes up to 5th level. Spell script. The spell script is an academic language of runes, glyphs, and sigils used to transcribe spells. Blah, blah, blah. You're writing dialect. Though the basic principle... I feel like this Giffyglyphs guy is definitely a coder, and he's definitely taken his love of coding and put it into his wizards. Though the basic principles of spell script are well understood, every wizrobe instinctively develops their own coded dialect, which reflects their individual tastes and writing style. Spell script is as much art as it is science. Choose your dialect from the spell script dialect table below, or define your own style. Spell paper. Spell script can only be written on a magical surface, otherwise it begins to blur, fade, and vanish after 1 minute. For this reason, wizards like to record their spells on specially crafted spell paper, and bind it together into large magical spell books. 1 sheet of spell paper can hold up to 1 spell level of magical power. The first level spell, for example, can be written on 1 sheet of spell paper. This is why wizards hate other spellcasters. Look at how hard these people are working to do magic. Look at how hard they're working. And then the sorcerer's like, LOL, my dad banged a dragon. Yeah, so that's why wizards don't like sorcerers. If you've ever really wondered, this is why. Because this is how hard wizards are supposed to work for magic. And earlier, when we talked about sorcerer, that's how easy it is for sorcerers to just do whatever they want with magic. There's definitely some heavy-duty resentment there. Heavy-duty resentment. Let's continue. Crafting spell paper. If you are trained in Arcana and calligraphy tools, you could transmute a normal sheet of paper into spell paper. It only costs 0.5 GP of arcane dust. That's not bad. That's like, what, 5 silver? Any content on the paper remains intact during this process. Spell paper. It does radiate magic. That's good to know. Writing spell script. Once you have some spell paper, it's time to start writing. Keep in mind that paper, I think, costs even more than the arcane dust. Paper's actually really expensive. Once you have some spell paper, it's time to get writing. There are times when you are struck by inspiration and want to write something new. Researching a new spell. Aww, that's nice. Sharing arcane knowledge with another wizard. Recording your own magical discovery, etc. You must spend 1 hour and 10 GP to successfully write your own spell script. I feel like in our West Marches game, if people are actually willing to play wizards with these strict ass rules, I will go and buy some extra spell compendiums from DM's Guild, and we will hide some rare-ass homebrew spells in some dungeons that only wizards can use. Because, like, this is a lot of work. And they deserve something special. Especially since they're never going to get access to their 6th level or higher game breakers. So, making a copy. Sometimes you want to make a copy of a spell. So if you wrote the original... it takes an hour and 10 gold. If somebody else wrote it, it takes 2 hours and 50 gold. Significant difference. Spellbook. No self-respecting wizard is a wizard for long without a spellbook of their own. A priceless tome in which they record spells and arcane knowledge. Your spellbook is a unique tome with its own decorative flourishes and margin of notes. It might be a pain. Sorry, it is going to be a pain. It might be a plain, functional leather volume that you received as a gift from your master, a finely bound, gilt-edged tome you found in an ancient library, or even a loose collection of notes scrounged together after you lost your favorite spellbook in a mishap. Choose a description from the table below, or define its own appearance. Magical writing is inherently powerful, and stacking multiple spells together in close proximity, such as a spellbook, can have unpredictable consequences. A single spellbook can safely hold 50 spell levels worth of spells and arcane knowledge. Capacity burnout. If your spellbook capacity is exceeded, your spellbook will purge itself and erase the content at random until balance is restored. I love it. Love it. Let's see. Roll a d100. If the result is lower than or equal to the total number of recorded pages, it explodes with arcane force. Wow. Okay. Spellbooks contain powerful magical writing that can be very unstable. If the spellbook is destroyed without proper caution, such as being incinerated, it may erupt with magical force. Roll a d100. If the result is equal to or less than the total number of spell levels recorded in the book, it explodes. Each creature within 30 feet has to make a constitution save. It suffers 1d12 force damage. Oh, that's not too bad. Plus an additional 1d12 force damage for every 10 spell levels contained in the book. So you're looking at maybe 6d12 at the most. And if you succeed, you take half damage. So you could use your spellbook as a bomb, which is kind of cool. And very expensive. Though, I guess if no one was a wizard, you could just keep enemy spellbooks to use as bombs. Kind of like using beds as bombs in Minecraft. Making a new spellbook as a wizrobe, you may be required to make a new spellbook for yourself. If you're trained in Arcana and calligraphy tools, man, I guess you kind of have to be. You can create a new spellbook by infusing a normal book with 25 GP worth of arcane dust. This requires 1 day of dedicated effort and attention, and the process turns 50 pages of the book into spell paper. Alternatively, if you have 50 sheets of spell paper, you can bind them together in the appropriate fashion to create a spellbook. Spell research. As a student of the Arcane, if you are able to learn new spells through careful study, dangerous experimentation, perform research. Choose a spell from the wizard list that you want to learn. The spell must be of a level that you have slots for. The difficulty of your research is DC 5 plus 5 times the spell level of your target spell. Set up your laboratory. Assemble your research equipment and laboratory. At a bare minimum, you need access to your spellbook, inks, magical components, and some privacy. For every additional 100 GP you spend setting up your research, hiring assistants, buying components, renting equipment, etc., you gain a +1 bonus to your research check. Limited to half your wizard level rounded up for the current work week. Make a research check. Once you have everything set up, you can start to run your experiments. After 1 work week has passed, make an intelligence arcana check and see the results using the spell research outcomes table. Make a complication check. Finally, roll a d10. If you roll less than or equal to the spell level of your research, there was a complication. Make a roll on the spell research complications table. Once your research is resolved, you may choose to run another experiment if there is downtime to spare. During your experiments and adventures, you may find research notes made by other wizards. These research credits can help you during your studies. When you make a research check, you can spend 1 research credit to add plus 2d4 to your result. For every additional research credit you spend, you gain +1 bonus to the total result. Starting at 8th level, this bonus increases to 2d6 instead of 2d4. What kind of shit can happen while you are doing spell research? Critical failure. Go to the complications table. No effect. Gain a research credit. Succeed. And critical success. Discount. Nice. Complications. Destruction. Lose 1 random spell from your spellbook. Or the spellbook itself if you have no spells to lose. Noticed. A powerful rival or creature notices what you are up to. Backfire. Random horrible thing happens to you. Cool. Accident. Your research has caused an accident. You owe 1d10 times 10 GP per spell level to cover the damages. Okay. Arcane Traditions. Looks like the only one officially done because of SRD is Evocation. And then I guess you just got to fill it in yourself. Wink if you need the other ones. Alright. Evocation. You are drawn towards powerful elemental and and oftentimes destructive arcane magic. Let's see. Arcane Schools. You have a talent for reading glyphs and symbols of evocation magic. The golden time you spend to write evocation spells is halved. You find it more difficult to make sense of sigils and writing structure or abjuration magic. The golden time you must spend to write them is doubled. Yeah, 50 level 5 spells is 250 levels, right? Yeah. But remember, a spellbook can only hold 50 levels worth of spells. So if one spellbook was to blow up, you'd only ever have 50 levels worth of spells in one spellbook. Unless it was over full with stuff. At which point it would start erasing spells anyways. Let's see. Elemental Spark. When you cast Wizard Evocation spells that deal fire, cold, lightning, thunder, or acid... right, exactly. Anyways, you can simultaneously create an elemental spark using a strand of the spell's power. The spark orbits close to your body. You may choose the location where you curse the spark. The appearance and damage of the spark match the spell. You can only have one active elemental spark at a time. Any active spark automatically expires when you finish a short or long rest. You can use this feature once and regain uses when you finish a short or long rest. What the hell does the spark do? Elemental spark. When you take damage from a creature you can see, you may spend a reaction to cause feedback or reduce the damage. Oh, that's pretty cool. When you use one of these actions, your elemental spark is expended and vanishes. And then at 6th level, it does 2d10 damage, or the reduction is 2d6. It's still pretty cool. Potent cantrip. You're able to rewrite and prepare cantrips so that your damaging cantrips can affect even creatures that avoid the brunt of the effect. When a creature succeeds on a saving throw against your cantrip, the creature takes half the cantrip's damage. Hey, look at that. Toll the dead, hitting even if they make the save. But suffers no additional effect from the cantrip. Empowered Evocation. You are able to enhance your evocation spells with destructive power. When you cast a wizard evocation spell, you can add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll. So take that, artillerist. I don't know. Maybe they always had that. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever had an evoke a wizard in 6 years of playing D&D. Over channel. When you cast a spell of 1st to 5th level that deals damage, you can choose to deal max damage with the spell. You must decide to do so before you roll damage. Oh, that's awesome. You can use the spell, this feature once, and you regain expended uses when you finish a long rest.